Audition. And if you have the whole Creative Suite, it does come with that, but you can subscribe to, you can get just one application for a pretty reasonable price. And if you're undecided, you want to try Audition, you can always do the 30-day free trial and download that and see if it is going to work for you before you commit to a monthly subscription. So for distribution, now you can go to all these different sites, and there's a lot of them, and manually upload your book to each one of them. But it's a whole lot easier if you use a distributor. And probably two of the biggest ones are ACX and Findaway Voices. So ACX is Amazon, and they distribute to Audible and iTunes and their global markets. Amazon has a bounty program. So if someone signs up for Audible and your book is the first one that they buy, that you get a bounty, and it's normally $50. I think since COVID has kicked in, they moved it up to 75, but it's going back down to 50. I mean, the 75 was just a thing to try to help people out for a while. And ACX also has a program that's specifically for romances. It's kind of like the Kindle Unlimited. So if you've got audiobook romances, you can get in on that. And Findaway Voices, they distribute to over 50 retailers, and one of those is Overdrive. And as Sandy mentioned earlier, Overdrive is where libraries get their content. And so an Australian library, I hadn't done any advertising or anything, because when I did my kids' picture books, I did them first, partly because they're short and partly because I thought no one's going to listen to these little short picture books, and I'll have a chance to get my workflow down. So if they're if they're not perfect, it's okay because no one's going to listen to them. But then this Australian library picked them up. So that was a pleasant surprise. And Findaway Voices also has an author's direct. So if you wanted to sell your audiobooks on your website, you could use their author's direct and sell directly to customers. And something ACX does, I mean, Findaway Voices does that ACX does not, is they let you set your own price. They have a little tool that says this type of book usually costs between this amount and that amount, and they will give you a what they think is your optimal price to sell that book, and you can accept that price or you can set another one. But if you're having a sale, for example, you can change the price on Findaway Voices and then change it back whenever you're done with your promotion.
Alicia, CJ's asking, can you do ACX and Findaway Voices?
Yes, both of them, like you can, there's a little box that you can tick on ACX that says whether or not you want to be exclusive. If you're exclusive with, and both of them have it, if you're exclusive with either one of them, you get a bigger royalty. However, I mean, I'm going to play around with some books and see if, just because Findaway Voices does distribute to ACX. So if you put it on Findaway Voices, it will go up there. There was just a couple of things that you have access to with ACX that you don't with Findaway Voices, like the bounties and the romance thing. And I do have some romances that I may just have exclusive on Amazon, but yeah, you get a smaller royalty, but as long as you don't check the exclusive box, but you can distribute to both of them. So I mean, that's what I'm currently doing right now. So I thought that I would have a little short sample of audio, one that's raw and one that I edited, and so you can see the difference. Now, there was a tip from that M.L. Buckman book, and I had never thought about this, but he says don't edit out your breaths completely, because when people are talking to you and they're used to hearing the other person breathe, and even if they don't think about it. But if you're reading and they never hear you breathe, it's going to creep them out and they're not going to know why. And they're probably going to give you not as good a review as possible because something about your book, your voice, they just didn't like, but they won't know what it is. And also Jason Levine, he's got a great channel for audio mastering, and Findaway Voices also has a video on how to master content for their site. But here is just like the first, I don't know, paragraph of Earthbound. And this is the raw version.
I can't hear anything, Alicia.
Oh, you can't hear it? Hold on. There's a thing. See if it'll let me get my.
Did you click the audio allowance when you had the screen?
Yeah, I don't think I did. Let me. Can I do pause share? And do that. Ugh. All right.
No, you have to go out and go back in again.
Yeah. All right. Stop share. Yeah, screen share. Come over here. Share computer sound. And where are we? Someone had to look after Sheridan. Can you hear it now? Can you hear it? Oh, hold on. Let me restart. I didn't believe in ghosts.
Yes,
Now can you hear it? Until I became one. One problem, a big problem with being a ghost, is that you look just how you looked when you died. I was 5 years old when that happened. I've learned a lot since then, matured as my friend Ona would say, but I still get treated like a little child. It isn't fair. I should be 13, almost grown. I should be in school with my own friends. I should be alive. Or maybe I shouldn't have stayed behind. But someone had to look after Sheridan. All right, so that's the raw file. And there are ways that you can, at the very end, my chair squeaked and it was late and I was putting this together in a hurry, so I didn't get that fully edited out. But with Audition, you actually have tools that will help you get that out if you should have an unfortunate occurrence, such as a squeaky chair. I didn't believe in ghosts, not until I became one. One problem, a big problem with being a ghost, is that you look just how you looked when you died. I was 5 years old when that happened. I've learned a lot since then, matured as my friend Ona would say, but I still get treated like a little child. It isn't fair. I should be 13, almost grown. I should be in school with my own friends. I should be alive. Or maybe I shouldn't have stayed behind. But someone had to look after Sheridan. So, I mean, did you hear the difference between the quality of my voice before and after editing?
Yes, I did. And what did you do to do that?
Well, there's some like vocal enhancement tools, and there's like a parametric equalizer, and you can turn up basses and stuff like that. So I had gone through, I think it was one of the Jason Levine videos, and I'd done some presets so that once I recorded it and edited out all the, ums and other mistakes, then I applied those presets, and so it made my voice seem richer and fuller.
Well, that's great. It did sound. I could definitely tell the difference. Anybody have any questions so far for Alicia, especially on this part? Here where she just played the samples. Red did ask, let me make sure we clarify that one. Red asked, do you have to have a different ISBN number for Audible, for like ACX and for the other distribution one?
No, I don't use, okay, it's a little bit different because Findaway Voices requires you to have a separate ISBN number for your audiobook. So you put that one in and they, you also give them the ISBN number that of the print or ebook that you're linking it to. But when I go to ACX, it gives me, I can search for my book and then I claim my book and it associates the audio with that book. So I don't need an ISBN for the audiobook on ACX, but I do on Findaway.
Okay. But you use the same one that you have for the print book on Amazon?
No, with
Oh, it has
ISBNs.
to have a different one for being a different bird. Yes, I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. James asked, do you recommend standing when reading?
A lot of people do recommend that. If you have a squeaky chair, you might really want to do that. But yeah, a lot of people, Joanna Penn says you should stand up when you read. I haven't with the kids' books, but when I get to do some of the like the series books that the cozy mystery series that I'm working on right now, I might see if I can get one of those desk elevator things to put my mic on a higher thing, because I have this giant monitor in front of me. So I usually have the audio software running on my laptop screen, and then I have all the text on the giant monitor in front of me, and it works out really well because I'm at the right distance from the microphone. So if I stand up, then I have to try and elevate all that. So I haven't done it, but yes, a lot of people do recommend standing.
Okay, thank you. You can please continue.
All right, well, I don't have too much left. I didn't believe in God. Stop. So this is just, if you guys want the PowerPoint, these are just the links to the sales data that I had.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we'll open it up to questions then. So if you have a question, just make sure you unmute first, and then just feel free to go ahead and ask it.
Alicia, this
Yes.
is Terlene. I do have a question for you. So I have actually listened to a couple of audiobooks that have the background music or just certain features, and not just the voice itself. You may hear a person walking or door opening and closing or some music, or someone out in nature or what have you. But is that no longer the trend, or is that just not something that audiobook recorders are not doing anymore or whatever?
Well, it's something, it depends on the distributor. A lot of times if someone does that, it will be for a podcast, because there are some great podcasts that have like the full cast and all the sound effects and everything. But if you load it up to ACX and it's got music and sound effects and stuff, they're probably going to reject it. But something that you could do is you could record your book and then record or upload just the voice part up to ACX or Findaway Voices, and then take that same audio and add the sound effects, the music, and the footsteps or the forest things, and then have that as a podcast. And a lot of people run podcasts where they have some free content and then they have some paid content. So maybe you have little short stories or something to get people interested in your free content. And it's like, well, if you really like these stories, I have this, you can go to Patreon, and if you subscribe via Patreon, then you can get my full book. And so you can do the production with all of the bells and whistles. And so that's a way you could make money, and you would still only have to record it once. But typically ACX will reject it if it's got stuff other than a voice reading.
Alicia, you said that
Yes.
you can't use mechanical or computer voices. Do ACX not accept them?
The ACX does not accept them, no. And neither does Findaway Voices. I mean, there might be some other outlets that do, but Findaway and ACX do not.
Why is that? Do you know?
I'm not really sure. It may have to do with customer experience because, you know, there's the whole uncanny valley thing where people get really creeped out by something that's almost human, but not quite. So maybe it may have to do with that, or it may have to do with, you know, maybe the Screen Actors Guild has, you know, worked out some deal with them that's forbidden it, or maybe they're worried about copyright infringement or something. If you can just, you know, if you just pick a book and have some computer voice read it, you can turn out, you know, a whole lot of books, and maybe it's content that you don't have a right to, and it'll be harder for them to to nail that down, because if you have to do all of the recording and editing and all that kind of stuff, that's a lot of time for you to spend on something you might get booted for. But if you can just feed it into a computer and have the computer do it, then, you know, why not? Why not put it up there and see if you get caught? So, I mean, there's probably a lot of reasons, but I don't know the specific ones.
Okay.
Alicia.
Yes.
So with that, what about the editing that's required? Just as a point of note, if you're a member of the Screen Actors Guild, which I am, you're not allowed to go below the minimum wage, whatever that figure is. If you're
Right.
caught going under that minimum wage, you will actually get fined for that. So they can't give you a discounted rate, and the Screen Actors Guild haven't done anything with regard to automated books. But in terms of that situation, how do they know if it's an automated book?
Well, I think the synthetic voices are pretty good, but they're not perfect. And they do quality control analysis, and I don't know if their quality control analysis is able to detect a computer voice versus a human voice. It probably can, because they don't have someone sit there and listen to it. They run it through some software, and the software can probably detect whether it's because if it's a computer generated voice, it's always going to sound the same. Whereas if it's a live voice, you may say the same words over and over and pronounce them slightly differently every time, but the computer is going to be exact every single time. So they probably do some analysis like that.
And I would say there's probably no breathing with a computer voice, whereas when someone is speaking, you can actually hear a little bit of their breathing in between.
Yes.
And with a computer, there would be no ambient sounds like that.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's they have a sound, the ambient sound or ambient noise behind you, and it can't be louder than certain specifications. So it could be that it's 0. And if you're even if you're recording in a booth with a really excellent microphone, it's not going to be 0. But if you're recording with a computer, with a synthetic voice, then it would be.
Okay.
Great discussion. Alicia, I have a question on the training that you did, the classes you did on Udemy for your voice. So do you have any recommendations? So like if I wanted to help someone with theirs, honestly, I would, how do you get away from having like a Southern accent or a, Texas accent or anything like that? Is there certain classes for that?
Most of the ones that I've done are about making your voice better and not so much accent reduction. I'm sure there are. I think Peter Baker probably might have something like that. I think if you looked, you could probably find them. I haven't really looked for those kinds of things, but I mean, there are tons of acting classes on there. So I'm sure that the acting, voice acting classes would help you with accent reduction if you needed it.
Yeah, there's a matter of fact, when I just did a search on Udemy for improving your voice, I got 10,000 results. So,
Yeah.
so I just want, that's why I'm like, let me go back to you and see if you have any recommendations first. But I do see Peter Baker's name mentioned, so he's a good one to follow or to listen to.
Yeah, I like the course. The 30 Days to a Better Voice. He had like I think it was a 15 or 20-minute video. And he talked about, learning to breathe through your diaphragm and finding, like you talk and you kind of change the pitch of your voice and you feel your body for the vibration, where is it resonating, and to find your normal, comfortable voice that works with your body. And he had, all kinds of like tongue twisters to practice, and he recommends gargling. So make sure you do that mouthwash every day, because it works the muscles in your throat, your tongue muscles and your cheek muscles, and it works all those facial muscles. So if you just do your gargling with your mouthwash, in the morning when you get up or before you go to bed at night, that will actually help your speaking voice, because it helps all that structure in your throat.
That's great information. Thank you. Any other questions for Alicia? Alicia, if you will go ahead and or stop sharing, then we can see everybody's face out there and see, I can look at everybody. Anybody else have a question?
I have a quick question. So speaking of voice, so let's say, for instance, you're 30 minutes into your recording and you're just having a little tickle in your throat. For the sake of editing, I mean, in making your editing process streamlined, what would you recommend? Just having like a place setter to say, you're going to cut out the scratchy part of your voice and pick up there, or how would you tackle the whole project itself when it comes to needing to edit out errors in your voice and things of that nature?
Well, if your voice is getting tired and you find it's getting a little scratchy because it's tired, you might want to just pause the recording and take a little break. They said that you shouldn't drink cold water because you've done all this warm up on your voice, and then you don't want to just chill it back down. So if you have like a glass of room temperature water, have a drink of water, maybe have a piece of hard candy or something. Don't recommend every class that I've taken says don't have anything dairy right before you record, because the fat in the dairy kind of sticks to your throat and can cause problems when you're recording. But yeah, just take a little break, let your voice rest a little bit, and then start your recording from there. But there's different techniques. There's sort of the standard technique where you are reading and you might have something like, for example, a dog training clicker that makes a noise. And if you make a mistake, you click that clicker so that you can actually see it when you look at the waveform. You say, okay, I know that's where I need to edit. That's where I need to edit. But then there's also punch and roll. And that's where if you make a mistake, you go back over it right then and correct it right then. And then your voice is exactly the same as it was when you're reading, and there's not a change in your voice. And that one there is actually built into Adobe Audition. When you do recording, there's several types of recording, and punch and roll is one of your options. And it takes a little bit of practice to get used to it, where exactly when you're supposed to start talking. And so if you do punch and roll, it takes a little bit longer to record it, but then your editing takes much less time, because then you just have to go through and edit out stuff like, if you're breathing is too loud, turn the volume down and that type of stuff.
I think I heard somebody say once that, and it wasn't about audiobooks or anything, but they were talking about recording. And when you're going back to edit it, before you go back to edit it, while you're doing it, if you clap really loud or do make some really loud noise, then when you go back to edit, you can see that. And
Yeah,
you'll know.
yeah, clapping will work is, some people do that. If you don't have a dog clicker or some other thing that makes noise, clap is just as good.
Okay. Any other questions for Alicia? This is great, Alicia. And I know not
Thank you.
every one of you are interested in recording your own book. I got that. So, and especially Julie's already had someone do hers. Kathy Eisen's already had someone do hers. So I wanted her to come on and talk because it is an option. So for those of you that have a budget and you have time, then you may want to think about it. So it's something we can discuss later in one of our masterminds if you're interested. Just wanted you to know the option. So we've had Greg come on and talk with Tess, his narrator. We had Julie with hers. We've had Zach input from Zach, who is a member of the of SAG, the Writer Guild or whatever. I forgot the
Screen
name.
Actors Guild.
Screen Actors Guild. Thank you. And so there's all kind of options. Just because of the numbers that you saw from Alicia in the very beginning, is that how by 2027, it's going to be more than tripled what it is in 2020, when 2020 was up, way up from 2019. So it's a market, and you want to be in that market. You want to be able to get, Red, I see you have to leave, and we'll talk later because I do want to get together with you. So I want you to see that you want to have a part of this market. So that's why I wanted to know that we will be here to help you with it. Those of you that have already got your audiobooks, Kathy Hawaisen, and Julie, then of course we'll be counting on you guys to help out with, some of the things that you encountered along the way. So thank you, Alicia. Great presentation. I do want
Thank
to
you for
take.
having me. I said, thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. I still want you on Author Talk on a Monday morning. So get with Amy, please, and get that scheduled because I want to talk about your books there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so before we go, I did want to, Julie was reminding me of some things. When is the Galveston Book Festival? Is that this coming weekend, Julie? You're muted. So Alan is having his annual Galveston Book Festival this coming weekend, Saturday, in of course in Galveston, and it's a beautiful place that they have it. I was there last year. Please. I mean, honestly, I'm not leaving my house. I'm afraid to leave my house right this minute because we came so close, so very close, and it just made me a nervous wreck. And my daughter-in-law is just now feeling better, and knowing and feeling more confident that she's going to not have to go to the hospital. But she did have to be put on a breathing machine and all that kind of stuff. So when I was listening to the news a few minutes ago, and they were showing this young high school guy, and I'm like, anyway, not going there. Just please, wherever you go, if you go to this festival, Julie, I know you're going to be there. You guys, please wear your mask. Please be careful.
Part of it is, let me just say, Alan says he's going to have everything, hand sanitizers, masks for people that don't bring them. But part of it is going to be outside, and my table is outside.
Good.
So I just have to pray it doesn't rain.
As I mentioned to you when I was talking last week or whenever, that Friday, I think, I just found out that I don't have nearly as much self-control as I thought I did. I thought with my being at the wedding, I was going around giving people a mask and saying, please wear your mask. After a while, honestly, I just gave up and I didn't even wear my own mask after that. So the whole night I did a part of the time, but when we started eating and all of that, so I'm like, okay, I honestly cannot handle temptation. So I should just stay away from it. So just be careful. Whatever you do for the holidays, for now, for whenever, any of these festivals, please be careful. So that was one thing. There was something else that you, the gift guide. Yes, we talked about holiday gift guides last Friday on on our mastermind. If you have not done any research,
I done mine, Sandy. I did mine.
I know
I'm Lone Star Life, so.
you did not
I
give me
did mine.
didn't give me a chance to say Julie has done her homework. And she has put it here in the chat. So save your chat, because she has on here the Lone State Literary Life has launched a holiday gift guide.
You should say Lone Star Literary Life.
Oh, it is Lone Star. Okay. So Lone Star Literary Life. So look it up. I'll find the link and we'll give it to you guys. Go see what it's all about. She said it's pay what you can basis. So I don't know
what is that thing called? MBBF?
I'm sorry. Is somebody talking?
Oh, that might have been me. I thought I was muted. I'm trying to think of the one that I just signed up for. Was it MBBF? It's something Black Books Festival.
Is that here
So
in
I
Houston?
forget what.
Is that the one in Houston?
Yeah, that's the one I sent you.
Okay, yes. Okay,
So
it is.
yeah, so I did that one.
Good. Is that a gift guide?
No, they actually do a catalog flyer type of thing
Okay.
that they're promoting online and
Yes, okay.
places.
And then don't forget, and you'll see I just today updated my Facebook with the Miami Book Fair. So James and all the authors from Rock Hill Publishing are going to be live, well, video live. Well, they're going to be streaming starting next Saturday for a week. The entire Miami Book Fair is going to be online this year. And they have over 200,000 people that visit the live book fair. Who knows how many they'll have going to the online book fair, especially since it's free. It will be live streamed, and they have some great people. So Margaret, for those of you that know Handmaid's Tale, Margaret Atwood is one of the guest speakers for the Miami Book Fair. So it's absolutely free. Go sign up, and then be sure to go to and watch for James and Rock Hill and all the authors. So Athena, Zach, Haley left us, I guess. Haley, David Baylog, all of them be on there, and they're all going to be doing their individual recordings where they'll be reading their books and doing other things. So be sure to go there. I'm going to have the link. We're going to be posting the link all week long on all of our social media. And then you had three things. Julie, what was the third one? Oh, the Comic Palooza. Yeah, so the guy from the Comic Palooza, the Houston Comic Palooza, is organizing or trying to put together a virtual book fair. So Julie's in communication with him. They're trying to work it out to have it before Christmas. So Julie, if you have any other information, can you post it in the group or let me know so we can send it out to everyone? Because
this is all just the very beginning of an idea. And when I told him if he does it, he should have it before Christmas, it was like, no way, that's too fast. I can't do it. And I said, well, if you're trying to help authors, we need to have it before Christmas. But it's the same guy that organizes this Comic Palooza. I'm sorry, Greg's not here. Maybe CJ knows about Houston Comic Palooza.
I know that Fern knows about it, but she's not here either. So,
well, suppose he says that last year he had 35,000 people there, and he had authors there too. Of course, they were probably sci-fi or fantasy authors, but anyway,
he has panels at the live event. He has panels, and I know Fern and them and Alan Bourgeois, all of them have tables and panels.
So he can't do Comic Palooza, but he is talking about doing a virtual book fair.
Right.
So he and I talked for quite a while. I told him that Alan's been doing virtual book fairs, and frankly, you know, I haven't gotten any sales out of those. And he said, yeah, he saw some of the Austin, you know, the Texas Book Festival, which went online, and he thought it was boring, which probably
that's the thing. Yeah, you got to keep it going, keep it moving fast, keep it interesting, because people will not stay around. That's a easy thing. So just to leave if it's online. But so lots of stuff going on. I'm sorry.
All I know is what he told me on the phone, and I told him to call you, Sandy, and I told him to call Alan.
Okay,
Because he wants to make sure that he can involve like librarians who potentially could bring books into the library, order books for their libraries. And the thing that interested me, in contrast to what Alan does, each author who signs up would have their virtual booth. So you would staff your virtual booth, and anyone that comes into your booth, then you would talk to them. And this platform is such that you can immediately sell them a book right there in your virtual booth.
and
So
that's kind of how I'm picturing the Miami Book Festival or Fair. Are you, James? What are you thinking? How are you thinking? 'Cause he's going to have a booth in the marketplace.
Yeah, I'm thinking that while we're streaming, and because we have a 20% off link, so that they can go directly to buy the books from the link. So we can stream and we can talk to the people, and at the same time, we will be pushing the idea that they can either buy the physical books for 20% off, or they can get the ebooks for 99 cents. And the ebooks are easy because when you go to the purchase, it's just downloads and then your
Right.
payment goes through.
Yeah, that'll be the easiest.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing. I'm looking forward to seeing how the whole thing works. Because if you go to the Miami Book Fair website, and then go to look at their the navigation
Schedule.
left side, you can see where it says marketplace, and they're anticipating over 200,000 people coming to this marketplace. So we're going to push and make sure they know about Rock Hill Publishing when they get there. So we'll let you know how it's all going, but I'll let all of you know where the link is so you can go there and see what's going on. And it's maybe something for us to do for another one. And if Comic Palooza is going to be, if they're going to do anything with it, Julie, I hope he does call me, or if you'll give me his number, I'll call him, because I would love to help him get something set up. Thank you again, Alicia. This has been amazing. I love it. Love knowing all these wonderful opportunities there are. I'm going to have some other people on from the Indie Palooza, because we had not only Alicia talking about audiobooks, but we had someone there talking about podcasts. We had someone talking about songwriting, and oh my gosh, it was just, there was so many amazing things to see, the talent that creative people have. Writing books, yes. Writing poetry, yes. Doing the audiobooks, doing the podcast. One person was the blogger. So lots of really good stuff, good information. So thank you all for being here tonight. And I will see you on Friday, where we're going to talk more about what you can do to sell your book for the holidays. So have a great week.